Wan's a small tidy room. The evening sunlight streamed through the window as Wan sits at her desk, absorbed in her work. Suddenly the door creaks open. Wan looks up, expecting her stepmother, but her stomach churned when three tall, muscular women in black suits entered the room without a word. Confused and panicked, Wan, who are you? What do you want? The woman say nothing, stepping closer with intimidating calmness. Wan's eyes dart to the desk. She grabs it, holding it shakingly in front of her. Voice trembling, Wan, stay back, I'm warning you. The women exchange a glance. Unfazed, one of them steps forward and with swift precision disarms Wan. Another woman grabs her arm firmly but not harshly. Struggling, screaming, Wan, let me go, Mom. They drag her out of the room. Wan resists, her voice echoing through the hallways. As they approach the main hall, her screams falter when she sees her stepmother standing there, flanked by two large suitcases. Her stepsisters stand nearby, smirking cruelly. Wan freezes, her legs nearly giving out as the realization dawns on her, whispering, her voice cracking. Her stepsister avoids her gaze, adjusting her shawl. Her stepsisters chuckle mockingly, their smile dripping with malice, staring at her mother, tears streaming down her face. Wan, why, Mom? Why would you do this to me? Wan's body feels numb. She stops, struggling, her arms feeling limp. The women guide her out of the house as she moves robotically, tears silently flowing down her cheeks. She is led to a sleek black car. The door opens and she gently but firmly pushed inside. She doesn't resist, she doesn't speak. The last thing she sees is her mother and sister watching from the doorway, her sister grinning as the car door slams shut. The car starts to drive away, Wan staring out of the window, her silent tears falling into her lap as she feels the last fragments of her hope slipping away. The car pulls up to a massive luxurious mansion hidden deep in a secluded forest. The sprawling estate is surrounded by high iron gates and armed guards. The grandeur of the place is breathtaking, but it feels cold and ominous. Wan stares out of the window, her unease growing. The car stops in front of the mansion's grand entrance. The three women in black suits open the door, gesturing for Wan to step out. Her legs feel heavy as she reluctantly complies, whispering to herself, Wan, where I am. The women lead her up the marble stairs and through towering double doors. The interior is even more extravagant. Gold accents, crystal chandeliers, and polished floors. Yet the air feels suffocating, heavy with power and fear. Wan's heart races as he is escorted into a grand hall. At the far end of the room sits a man on a massive black throne, executing authority. His piercing gaze locks onto Wan as he is brought closer. Her breath catches in her throat as recognition dawns. Muttering in shock, her face going pale, Wan knew it can't be. The man smirks, his sharp features and confident demeanor unchanged since high school. Though now he radiates terror. It's John Jungkook, her former school bully, now the infamous king of the Leaning forward slightly, his voice dripping with amusement, Jungkook, well, look whose fate decided to send my way. My little stammering, backing up slightly. Wan, don't call me that. What is this? Why am I here? Jungkook chuckles, stand up from his throne, his dressed in all black, his tattoo peeking out from beneath his shirt sleeves, his presence overwhelming. Walking toward her slowly, Jungkook, why are you here? That's simple. Shaking her head, tears filling up. Wan, what are you talking about? This has to be a mistake. Tilting his head, his smirk widening. Jungkook, no mistake, kitten. Your family had a little financial problem. I decided to help them out. In exchange, they gave me you. Wan stares at him, her heart pounding in disbelief. Her voice trembles with anger and fear. Wan, you can't just own me. I'm not some object you. shrugging, stepping closer until he is towering over her. Jungkook, that's where you are wrong. In my world, everything has a price. And you're mine now. Wan clenches her fist, her tears falling freely now, but she doesn't back down. Wan, I hate you. You tormented me for years, and now this? Jungkook's smirks falter for a moment, replaced by a flicker of something unreadable. He leans down, his voice soft but laced with menace. Jungkook, hate me all you want, kitten, but you'll have plenty of time to get used to this. Starting tomorrow, confused, her voice trembling. Wan, what do you mean? Straightening up, his tone casual yet final. Jungkook, tomorrow is our wedding. Be ready. Wan's eyes widen in shock and she shakes her head. Wan, no, you can't force me into this. Jungkook gestures to the woman in black, his expression hardening. Jungkook, take her to her room. She'll learn soon enough that rebellion is useless. Wan struggles against the woman as they grab her arm, her voice raising in desperation. Wan, I won't do it. I'll never marry you. Jungkook smirks, watching as she is dragged away, calling after her. Jungkook, we'll see about that. As Wan is led down a long corridor, her cries echoing through the mansion while Jungkook watches, his smirk never leaving his face. Wan sits in the lavish yet suffocating silent room, tears stream down her face as her mind replays the nightmare of her past with Jungkook. His taunts, his smirks, every memory cuts deeper. Whispering to herself, trembling, Wan, why him? He hated me, tormented me, and now he wants to marry me. Why? I can't live like this. I can't live with him. She glances around the room, her eyes landing on the large window. Determined, she wipes her tear and whispers to herself, Wan, I have to escape. I have to try. Wan pushes open the window, carefully climbing out and lowering herself onto the garden path below. She darts through the shadows, her heart pounding as she runs towards what she thinks is freedom. Moments later, Jungkook strides confidently towards the room, his expression calm but his mind filled with anticipation. He opens the door only to find it empty. His smirk fades instantly, replaced by a dark, chilling expression. Muttering Jungkook, she ran. He clenches his jaw and turns sharply, barking order to the guards stationed nearby. Jungkook, find her now. She hasn't left the grounds. It's impossible. Bring her to me immediately. The guards scatter, and it takes mere moments before Wan is dragged back into the grand hall. She struggles against the firm grip of two guards, her defiance blazing in her tear-streaked face. Yelling, Wan, let me go. Jungkook walks into the hall, his presence commanding. His expression is eerily calm, though his dark eyes burn with anger. He approaches her slowly, his steps echoing in the vast space. Coldly, Jungkook, kitten, you should have known better. Running from me, it's impossible. Glaring at him, Wan, why are you doing this? You hated me, you never missed a chance to hurt me. What do you want from me now? Jungkook's smirk returns, but there is something unreadable in his eyes. He steps closer, distancing the guards with a flick of his hand. They release Wan and leave the room, ignoring her question. Jungkook, you have caused enough trouble. It's time to end this game. Let's go. We are late for our wedding. Yelling, pulling away. Wan, no, I won't marry you. You can't force me into this. Jungkook exhales sharply, his patience wearing thin. Without a word, he scoops her up into his strong arms effortlessly. Wan gasps, thrusting against him. Screaming, Wan, put me down, I hate you, smirking down at her, his voice low and mocking. Jungkook, hate me all you want, kitten. It won't change a thing. You're mine now. Jungkook carries Wan into a grand hall adorned with extravagant decoration. A priest stands at the altar waiting. Jungkook sets Wan down but keeps a firm grip on her wrist, his expression unreadable. Pleading, her voice breaking, Wan, please, Jungkook, why are you doing this? You don't even like me. Why force me into this? Jungkook glances at her, his jaw tightening, but he doesn't answer. Instead, he looks at the priest and nods for the ceremony to begin. Desperate, Wan, answer me, why me? Why are you doing this to me? Jungkook doesn't respond, instead sliding the ring onto her finger with deliberate precision. Tears stream down Wan's face as she stands frozen, feeling utterly powerless. Softly broken, Wan, I hate you, I'll never forgive you for this. Jungkook leans down, his lips pressing against her ear as he speaks in a low, chilling voice. Jungkook, hate me, forgive me, it doesn't matter, kitten, you're mine now, and there's no escaping me. The priest announced them married. Jungkook takes Wan's trembling hand, leading her out of the hall with a firm grip. She looks back one last time, her heart heavy with despair as her new reality begins. Brokenly, Jungkook, why would you do this to me? Wan looks up at him, her eyes swollen and red, her face streaked with tears, her voice is barely a whisper, trembling with pain. Pleading, Wan, please let me, I can't live like this anymore. First my mom when I was just 10, then my dad brought her, my stepmother turned my life into a nightmare, my stepsisters, they hated me, and now you. She chokes on her word, her voice filled with anguish. Wan, you hated me and now sold me to you. I can't take it anymore. Please just let me go. Jungkook's expression softened, his eyes glistening with some things he hasn't seen before, regret, pain, and guilt. He takes a deep breath, his voice low and breaking. Jungkook, you're wrong, kitten. You have got it all wrong. I didn't buy you to hurt you. I bought you to save you. Staring at him, confused, Wan, save me from what? Jungkook looks down, his voice trembling as he speaks. Jungkook, your stepmother, a man worse than anything you can imagine. When I found out, I couldn't let that happen. I gave her all the money she wanted and took you away from her. I married you to protect you. Wan's tears slow as she processes his words. She looks at him, her voice barely audible. Wan, but why? Why would you save me? You hated me. You tormented me my whole life. Jungkook shakes his head, his hand gently cupping her tear-streaked face. His voice is raw, vulnerable. Jungkook, I didn't hated you, Wan. I never hated you. I loved you. I loved you since the first time I saw you. But you rejected every guy who ever tried to confess to you. I was terrified you would reject me too. So I hid my feelings. I thought teasing you was the only way I could be close to you. Wan's eyes widen, disbelief flickering across her face. Jungkook's grips on her tighten, slightly as he continues, his voice filled with emotion. Jungkook, when I found out what your stepmother planned, I couldn't stand by and let her ruin your life. I had to save you. I had to keep you safe, even if it meant forcing you into this marriage. Wan stares at him, her heart torn between anger, pain, and some things he can't quite name. She whispers softly, Wan, you loved me all this time? Noting his voice unwavering, Jungkook, I still do. I'll spend the rest of my life proving it to you if you will let me. Jungkook carefully lifts Wan from the cold floor, his strong arms holding her securely. She doesn't resist, allowing herself to lean against him as her emotions still swirl in her chest. He gently places her on the soft bed, pressing a stray strand of hair away from her tear-streaked face. Calmly, his voice low and soothing, Jungkook, you need to rest, kitten. You have been through too much. Close your eyes and I'll promise I'll make everything better. He stands preparing to leave the room, but as he turns, Wan reaches out and grabs his hand. Her grip is weak but determined. Jungkook freezes, looking back at her with a mix of surprise and concern, his voice trembling. Wan, Jungkook? Her question hangs in the air, fragile yet filled with yearning. Jungkook slowly sits on the edge of the bed, his gaze soft as he looks into her tearful eyes. He takes her hand in his thumb gently tracing circles on her skin. Earnestly, Jungkook, more than you could ever imagine. I know I have made mistakes that hurt you, but every single thing I have done, even the wrong things, was because I didn't know how to love you the right way. But I'll spend the rest of my life proving it to you how much you mean to me. Wan's tears begin to fall again, but this time they aren't tears of despair. They are tears of something softer, something warmer. She looks into his eyes, her voice barely above a whisper. Wan, I believe you. I think I always have, but I was too scared to admit it, to trust you. Jungkook leans forward, cupping her face with both hands as he wipes her tears away with his thumbs. His voice dropped to a tender whisper, filled with emotion. Jungkook, this will be the last time you ever cry because of me, kitten. I swear, from now on you will only have the reasons to smile. Wan notes her heart feeling lighter than it has in years. Jungkook pulls her into his arms, holding her tightly. The warmth of his embrace washes over her, grounding her in the present. She leans into him, her arms wrapping around his torso as they stay like that, cherishing the closeness. Softly, Wan, I'll trust you, Jungkook. Just don't ever leave me firmly. Jungkook, never get in your mind, and I'll protect you with everything I have. They were holding each other in the quiet stillness of the room, their bond strengthened by words of affection and a shared promise of a new beginning.